Hello again, everybody. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis, and this is the fourth part of my Imperial Guard Codex analysis. If you've missed parts 1, 2, and 3, I'll definitely have a link to part 3 in the description, and there'll be links to the others from there, I suspect. Okay, this video is aimed at the heavy support section, or as some people call it, a typical Imperial Guard player's wet dream. These guys are the most expensive units, but they are the most powerful. Everything in this section has an armor value. This is a Treadhead's dream. So we'll start with the Leman Russ. This is the longest serving tank pretty much in the history of Warhammer 40k. Except it's now got a new lease of life, 7 different variants. So let's take a look at them. The Leman Russ Battle Tank, 150 points. Battle Cannon, Strength 8, AP 3, 72-inch range ordnance, large blast. That will kill just about anything it hits. I don't know how good it would be at cracking heavy stuff, but at vehicles, infantry, heavy infantry other than 2+ saves, consider it dead, because you're rolling 2d6 for armor penetration and you're wounding practically everything on a 2+. The Exterminator has it's the same points cost, I should say that, 150 points. The Exterminator autocannon is 4 shot, strength 7, AP4, twin linked. Like its smaller cousin, the autocannon, on your heavy weapon teams and other vehicles, this is designed for most infantry, other than Space Marine upwards, and light vehicles. Don't expect it to go wrecking everything it hits. This is great against the new Tyranids, who will probably be running hordes, so this will whittle them down. There are better ways to do it, I'll come on to them. The Leman Russ Vanquisher is at the other end of the scale. This is a dedicated tank hunter. Its strength, I think, hang on a second. Vanquisher Battle Cannon is strength 8, AP 2, 1 shot. It also rolls 2d6 for armor penetration. So this is the best tank hunting gun probably in the section, because there's no scatter, it's just bang. The Eradicator Nova Cannon. This is another one that will be brilliant against the new Tyranids. It's, I think, large blast, it could be small. Strength 6, AP4, but importantly, it ignores cover. So if your friends are hiding, or your enemies are hiding behind cover, or in a cover zone of the Tyranid Venom Throat, they won't get the cover save and are much more vulnerable. And with strength 6, that's going to kill most things it hits. The Demolisher Siege Cannon. To those who are in the know, that's the same gun you find on the Space Marine and Chaos Space Marine Vindicator. This thing is strength 10, AP 2, large blast. However, it's only 24-inch range. This is not good. Well, the gun itself is good, but the range is appalling. So you're going to have to get close, and that's never a good idea. Yes, Leman Russ has 14 and 13 front and side. The Demolisher has 11 at the back. The others have 10. But I still wouldn't recommend a Demolisher unless you know you're coming up against a lot of 2+ armor saves, because it's just too short ranged. This is the Leman Russ Punisher, the ultimate infantry killer. Why? Because of its gun. Strength 5, AP nothing. Decent range, and you might ask, what's the point? Then I tell you it's a heavy 20. 20 shots. I don't care who you are or what you've got. If you can show me a squad that can take that and not take at least a fair few casualties, I mean, obviously when you get to 3+ and 4 and 2+ saves, that's a little bit unlikely. But this is against anything short of that, it's toasting pretty much half of a unit, unless it's obviously massive. It's expensive though. You do have to pay 180 points for it. You can give it then heavy bolters on the sponsons, which I'll come on to. Leman Russ Executioner is the most expensive. It's nearly 200 points. The Plasma Cannon is same as the regular Plasma Cannon, but instead of being 1 shot like every other one, this is 3 shots. That's 3 blasts dropping on your opponent, and this is where your AP2 is more likely to be found. Yes, it's 25 points more than the Demolisher, but it will kill a lot more, if I'm honest, because it's got more chances. In terms of upgrades, you can take heavy flamers and las cannons instead of the heavy bolter on the front, depending on the purpose. For example, something like a Punisher might keep the heavy bolters, whereas something like a Vanquisher would probably run a las cannon. Sponson's the same: heavy bolters, heavy flamers, multi-melters, and plasma cannons. It depends on the purpose of the tank. Some will say, I want heavy bolters to deal with infantry. Some will say, I want multi-melters to deal with tanks. It all depends. Storm bolter, heavy stubber, anti-infantry. Hunter killer missile, I've explained already, is a one-shot but unlimited range tank killer. Not bad. Dozer blade is good for clearing terrain. Extra armor is good for keeping you alive, but I don't think it's worth 15 points. And camo netting for the squadron, because you take Russes in squads of 3, is okay, but again, not my cup of tea. The character upgrade for the Lehman Russ is Knight Commander Pass. He's 50 points, and he makes the Russ he's in listed skill 4. He gains rerolls to arm penetration and rerolls to wound against monstrous creatures. This is the one you take on tanks like your Vanquisher, where you're wanting to hunt tanks or monsters with it. On a Punisher, yes, it's a little bit pip of BS, but it's not as useful. The Hydra Flak Tank, as I mentioned in my fast attack video, this is your go-to if you don't have a flyer and you know your opponent's bringing one. 2 twin Hydra autocannons is the same firepower as you find on a Russ Exterminator, just on a weaker chassis. It also has Skyfire, which has replaced the auto-targeting system, I believe. So it's great at killing flyers, skimmers, and what have you. You can upgrade it again. You can take them again in squadrons. Camo netting this is one of the times I may recommend camo netting, because you need to keep these guys alive if you want them to do their job. However, if you do kill the flyers, they're only hitting on 6s against everything else due to a lack of interceptor. So at 75 points, they're not expensive, but take them at your own peril. The Ordnance Battery. I don't use these because all bar the Medusa have a minimum range. And when you have a minimum range, there's a lot you can't kill. Whether it's the 12-inch range on the Griffin or the 36-inch range on the Basilisk, anything in that little circle, big circle, is safe from you. Well, that's how it used to be. I think the rules have changed now so that instead of having BS affect scatter within the minimum range, the scatter is not affected by BS. So they've got better in 6th edition than they were in 5th. The Earthshaker Cannon is strength 9 AP 3, big blast, big damage. The Medusa Cannon is similar to a Demolisher Cannon, but with slightly longer range but a weaker chassis. So it's a balancing act, really. You can upgrade it to be much more of a building hunter, so smaller blast but rolls better for AP. Excuse me. The Griffin ignores cover, I believe. Oh, hang on, I missed one. The Colossus. This is, I check, 24-inch minimum range, rank 6, AP 3, large blast barrage. That's good for killing things like Space Marines and everything else. It's like a slightly improved version of the Eradicator Cannon, because it doesn't have ignore cover though. The Griffin has the most accurate, so you can re-roll the scatter dice, helping to mitigate the minimum range issue. It's also the weakest though. I just find it a second. Griffin Heavy Mortar, 6.4, so only short range, 6.4, and a large blast. That's not bad. It's similar to the Eradicator Cannon. So, if it was me, Basilisk is great for killing just about anything. A Medusa will kill just about anything. I would run a Medusa purely because it doesn't have the minimum range issue. Or I would run a Colossus because it doesn't have too bad a minimum range and it'll do a lot of damage with AP3. Camo netting, again, like the Hydra, you can use this. It depends. Enclosed crew compartment gives you more survivability because you will lose the open top rule, so there's less likely being blown up, but that's up to you, really. Then we come on to the Manticore rocket launcher. This is a gamble. It only has 4 shots for the game, thanks to limited ammo. It's 160 points and quite killable. That's not a great armor, but it does insane damage. Strength 10, AP 4, D3 blast per shot. So you've got anything up to 12 large blast templates falling from the sky every time during a game. 3 each time this thing fires, eventually. Yes, it's AP 4, but if you fail an armor save against it, you'll toast. Unless you've done a 6 or immune to instant death, but you don't see that much. Again, I wouldn't bother upgrading it much. You may consider a hunter-killer missile for when you don't have any more rockets to fire. And then we come to the big gun, the Death Strike. Slightly better armor than a Manticore, same cost. Heavy bolter, smoke launchers, which could be useful for keeping you alive, actually. I don't remember using smoke launchers. Camo netting, this I would say is essential. Anything you can use to keep this thing alive, i.e. not blown up, is vital. Because this gun is only a one shot, but my days is it powerful. I just quickly scroll back through to the Death Strike. 12-inch range, 960 inch. That's, for one who know your metric, that's 80 feet. Or think of your average 6-foot Tom, Dick, or Harry and put 30 in a bit of him in a line. That's a long way. That's probably... Oof, I couldn't really put a scale on it, really. Strength 10 AP 1, one shot only, but D3 plus 3-inch blast. That's not the diameter. So that's not this length. If this was your blast template, it's not this length, it's D3. 1 minute, calm. So it's not this length, it's half the circle, meaning that you could have anything from 8 blast to a 12-inch blast. Those who play Apocalypse will know how big that blast is. Anything under there pretty much is toast. However, it takes 1.5 million years to fire. For every turn it's been on the table, you add 1 to your roll. Or you can't fire on turn 1, you can't fire if you move, so don't move. If you've been weapon destroyed on the missile, -1, crew stunned or crew shaken, -1. Actually, extra armor's probably not worth it then. If you can get a 6 with modifiers, or without modifiers, for example, if you just roll a 6, then the missile fires, and you get this profile. It does a lot of damage. You do need to protect this, because you need to screen it, you need to do anything you can to make sure that your opponent can't see it and can't kill it, because he will go after it. But if you can get it to fire, the look on your opponent's face is priceless. Trust me. That is the heavy support section wrapped up. In terms of what I'd take in heavy support, you'll always see Russes. Don't know which ones, it depends on your opponent. Pask, again, maybe. Hydras, you generally don't see unless there's no Vendetta, and you always see Vendettas. Ordnance, it's up to you. Manticore, very rare. Death Strike, rarer less. Well, rarer still. You don't see them because they're so risky. That concludes my heavy support video. I will do a video on the order section soon. Beyond that, I think that's it for today. If you have any opinions, questions, leave them in the comments. Like, favourite, subscribe if you enjoyed the video or want to see more. My name is Michael. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.